That's multiplicity. When he made the version of himself that was like really, really, it was like the tape of a tape of a tape of a tape of
Yeah,
a
the
tape
dumbest
of a tape
guy.
of a tape. I loved it. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
That was
When the
that was a
clones
fun
are going to make more clones.
Yeah, it's like, the guy who like just got groceries and walked the dog. His life was he was just like, I'm sick of this shit, and he made a guy to do all those.
Yeah. What would go wrong if you could make adult clones of yourself?
Oh, everything. Oh my God, Are you kidding me?
Can barely live with one of myself.
I don't even think I'd make it out of the house. Oh yeah, I could. There's no way. Like, I'd be in a fight with a guy who looked just like me in 2 seconds, if not my wife.
Yeah. Why are you so dumb? Just get out of my face.
Yeah, that'd be the main thing. It's like, holy shit, am I this stupid? Oh man, down a weird rabbit hole already.
Well, should we hit WandaVision?
Yeah, you want to track anything out that may be incriminating, but
no,
keep your vistas open.
What would be incriminating?
Nothing. There's no mention of anyone there.
No, I didn't even mention a company name.
No, I don't want to do that.
I don't think, did I?
Not in this day and age.
I mean, so I was quarantined in Antarctica.
Did you have to take out your own, what's that thing, appendix?
No, I didn't even have to drink my own piss, so everything's good.
There was a guy in Antarctica, this like hardcore Russian scientist, and he got appendicitis when he was down there chilling. What do you do?
Oh,
yeah.
There was nobody else there?
Well, he was the only physician. There were other people there, but he was the only physician on the expedition team.
That's working by mirror, man.
That's what he did. He went to town. There's pictures of it. It's grisly, man. I can't believe it.
I think I'd die if it was me. I mean,
no,
and again, I wouldn't cut anybody open to start with, so I guess I'd never be a doctor.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd live. I think I'd get it done. It wouldn't be a good experience, but
it's hard to say. You wouldn't know until you were in that position.
Yeah. I don't think you would.
Okay, well, WandaVision.
We did it, Tim. Now, we have to acknowledge, I guess, a couple things before we just jump into what we thought and give our final things. Is we had a grand design to talk about this last episode of WandaVision. We were going to bring Emma back for an episode, which we're not. We just decided right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to have a nice little talk about WandaVision, but the shit hit the fan, Tim. The shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get it back. So if you were listening and you're waiting for a WandaVision wrap-up episode, you're going to get one. But it's going to be not as grand as we'd planned. So here it goes. Here it goes, man.
Yeah, I apologize. The big delay. One of the big delays was, I had to go to work in Antarctica for a couple of weeks, and then I ended up getting isolated because coronavirus. So
yeah, and there
was a kink in things.
There were a few pop-ups that happened with me too. Just stuff that just took my mind right away from it. So we were a little late getting to the party, but here we are now at the party. We are the party. So what'd you think?
Well, I'm going to quote an article I wrote earlier. Fans theorized the hex out of WandaVision. We just lacked the vision to solve the mystery. We had a lot of ideas, like especially people that read a lot of comics, and we came up with a lot of theories, and we were way out to lunch on a lot of it. Not all of it, but quite a bit of it. So that's the way it had to be, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled off something that no other Marvel show has done at this point, movie or otherwise. They got new people emotionally involved in the story.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do that with all of our fancy theories. They had to actually go with, something that would connect. So they did that.
Yeah, I kind of, that's kind of my track of the whole thing too, is that there's a thing and we've talked about this before on there, and that was, I kind of think it's kind of the bittersweet thing at the end of the show for me, was that we were talking about before, how there was a sense that there was a big mystery here. And I think in the end of the show, it was a little bit more straightforward than what the start of the show was kind of making it out to be. And for better or worse, the way that it was released, I think, episode to episode, week to week, really gave someone a sense of kind of what it was like in the 90s when you were watching a show, or the 2000s or whatever, and you were watching a show and you couldn't just binge watch it. You had to wait for the next week's episode to come out, previously on Lost, that sort of thing. It gave everybody a sense of that. Now, whether or not that was a boon to the show, I would argue, in this particular case, that I would have liked to have just binge watched the whole thing. It would have been better, I think. And then people wouldn't have been able to write so much stuff in the show. For the most part, I think I was pretty satisfied with the ending, but there was one thing that I'm going to say just like betrayed my trust and pissed me right off. Yeah. So I don't know. How your final thoughts on the whole thing? Did it live up to your expectations?
Well, going in, I wasn't sure what to think. I was afraid that it was going to be too sitcom-y. You know what I mean? Like not serious enough. I really wanted something that was going to carry the story. Like funny is fine, but I like funny things. But the preview and stuff seemed like it was going to be just, too much sitcom. So when it turned out to have some deep feelings behind it, I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was definitely the end tone that they were going for, and they definitely had that in mind when they wrote the start of the show, and when they got to the end, I think it was definitely exactly where they wanted to wind up, and I think it leaves the characters in kind of a good spot. I mean, we've got the comic book version of Scarlet Witch, we've got Vision back for better or for worse in the
comic book version, actually.
In the comic book version, yeah. So I mean, it's kind of cool that way. Yeah, I was fairly satisfied with the end. It's not my favorite Marvel piece that's been put out, but it was all right. It was pretty good. I think they did what they wanted to do.
Well, why don't we go over a few of the things that we all thought, some of us thought were going to happen?
Yeah, hit
briefly
it
here. So we got Mephisto. We did not see any demons. That doesn't mean that he isn't going to pop up later.
No,
in some form or another. But at this time, no sight of him. Pietro wasn't an X-Man after all. Okay, this one hurt a little bit.
This was my massive betrayal. They did all that to make a dick joke.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a big F you. I'm giving this microphone 2 middle fingers right now because that was bad.
Okay, how about Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four? Some people thought that he was going to show up because there was supposed to be an aerospace engineer, which, looking back, that's just like, okay, somebody mentioned the word aerospace engineer and we're just going to jump to Reed Richards. And that's just like expecting everything for Christmas under the tree, but not to be. The mailman wasn't behind it all, even though mailmen have a history, of causing mischief. In this case, it wasn't him.
The only one I can think of is Mr. McFeely, and he was fine, dude.
Oh, I'm still going back to the Seinfeld show where the evil arch enemy was the mailman.
Oh, see,
Newman.
I don't know.
Oh, you say whatever you want, but Newman did unleash all the dinosaurs on that island. So
that's a dark world you inhabit, Tim.
Okay, so the Vision that was in love with Wanda is now gone, or at least reabsorbed back into the amount of Mind Stone that she carries with her, the energy, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been nice
freed himself.
Yeah, it would have been nice if he had stuck around, but apparently not to be. How about Hayward? He wasn't a Hydra agent after all. He was just a giant dick.
He was just a jerk, yeah.
And that one actually seemed fairly plausible that he could have some ulterior motives, but no, he was just trying to screw everybody over and make himself look good. Sparky didn't make it, and they didn't even explain what happened to him or what he was, or if he was just an imaginary dog or a real dog.
No.
Senior Scratchy turned out to be just a pet rabbit, maybe a rabbit. For all we know, that was just a a butterfly that she changed into a rabbit, or who knows. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of high level feelings one way or the other. Elizabeth Olsen has still cemented herself as my favorite of the Olsen twins.
Well, right. First, to start with, she doesn't even look like a small baby orangutan like the two twins did.
No.
The other two did when they were little. To me, they looked like a set of monkeys. So I always found that kind of weird.
She may have looked very different when she was a child, but I think they kind of, when I think back on the early episodes of this show, like I honestly kind of forget that she's related to the Olsen twins, and they did that kind of Full Housey thing, and I made that Uncle Jesse joke early on in the show where he didn't show up and he did, and I was an idiot, and I think oh man, like that's the one thing that if I was a smarter person, I would have been looking out for that, I guess, but I'm not, so I wasn't. And I don't know. That's something that maybe I should have been expecting that I wasn't. Maybe a missed opportunity there, but I don't know. It would have been kind of cool to just have the old twins walk in on the Full Housey episode, but they didn't do the Full House show anyway. So
no, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
I hope we do see Evan Peters in some role in the future somewhere, and I'm sure we will. It might not be in the Marvel Universe again, but we'll see.
No, it's going to be, they're going to start off a side Bonerverse, and Ralph Boner is going to be going off, and maybe they'll just have multiple versions of him, and he'll be like the new Multiple Man instead of whoever that was, the Multiple Man, Jamie Madrox. Is that who? He's the Marvel X-Men Multiple Man. Maybe it'll be just Boner. Yeah, Ralph Boner, Multiple Man. Multiple Boners.
Anybody
Boner Incorporated.
Anybody with the first name of Ralph is not to be taken seriously. After all, we got Ralph Digsby, who is Elastic Man.
Ralph Wiggum.
The son of the police chief on The Simpsons. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any Ralph, basically. Ralph the Mouth off of Happy Days. Ralphs are just not respected.
No, poor Ralphs. Man, that was a kick in the gut. That was a kick in the gut.
Well, anyways, I guess now that we've done this episode, I can take down my string wall. I can take down all the red strings and the push pins. And I can reset, because I haven't watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have no idea if there's anything for me to theorize there, but maybe the Loki show. Maybe I'll need my red strings again.
Well, I've watched it. And I'm not going to say anything at this point in time. So you're going to have to take down that string wall. You're going to have to ball up that yarn. And I don't know, maybe you'll feel like putting out another string wall, but look at all the good it did you here.
Well, it did. It kept me occupied for weeks.
I suppose, yeah. Everyone did. That's the, I don't know, that's the funny thing about this. It's something that I got to say, to be honest with you, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that everyone had something to talk about, and it got all the creative juices flowing. However, there's a part of me that thinks that that's both good, because it gets people talking, like really talking about something that they like instead of something that they don't like, which is kind of everyone's sick of. But it does something weird too, where it just like pumps expectations up to unreasonable levels. So I'm going to make a pact with myself here. I'm making a deal with myself to just try and keep the pumping of expectations to a bare minimum, right? Now that I know to expect more boner jokes in this day and age, I think I know where my horizon is set.
The thing is, it doesn't seem to have hurt anybody's feelings, though, that they got their expectations dumped. You know what I mean? Yeah. They got away with it. No one was outraged. Everybody's like, oh, but that's pretty good.
That's more or less what I thought too. I mean, I still have a feeling that if they would have attacked this show in a much more linear fashion, instead of doing the 3 first episodes with that were all set in the sitcom-y kind of thing, maybe that could have been a little, but you know what? I coulda, woulda, shoulda. I still like that they actually swung for the fences on that, and they tried to do something different, because the Marvel universe can kind of be a little bit formulaic from time to time, and it was kind of nice to see him break out of that. So I want to shit on it, but I actually kind of respect it. So,
well, if nothing else, they created something out of nothing. They took what's really, realistically speaking, it's a high budget sitcom / action show on a television type format, and they created a huge media sensation about it by word of mouth, mostly. That's hard to do these days. You really got to give them credit for doing something that hasn't been done lately, because we have other shows coming out by the week and none of them generated this kind of talk.
No, that's for sure. Well, it does have that kind of like, it did have that. Here's what happens. When you put something weird out and you put out mysteries where people love mysteries, and that's what this show had going for it, right? It had kind of that the first 3 episodes, you really didn't know what was going on. You could fashion yourself a little bit of an idea, but it was a mystery, right? And it was kind of like a promise of a mystery further down the road, and they spun it and they paid it off, and it was, to be honest with you, pretty okay. They did a good job of telling you what it was that you were doing in that mystery in the first place. But you look back at all the things with Buzz in our lifetimes, and you can kind of think like, Fringe. You can think of which I haven't watched. I'm meaning to. All you Fringe fans out there, Lost. You can go to Twin Peaks. All these mysterious things where everyone's like, I don't know what's going on, but I love it. And those are the shows that everyone was talking about, right? Like right up until the end of Lost. How many seasons were there? 7 or 8. People were talking about this never-ending mystery box stuff that was just going on the whole time. So I don't know. But the other thing too is when you have that deep of a mystery, if you don't pay it off to everyone's expectations, and that's the kind of thing that I found really amusing, is that everyone had a different expectation of what was going to happen in the end. And sometimes I think a lot of people wrote a show in their heads that was better than what they saw on the screen. But I don't know. I was pretty okay with how it turned out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I have a few questions here. So we've got all the, we're kind of at a spot now where we're pretty cemented in the comic booky universe here now. We're in full comic mode. We've embraced the ridiculous now, which wasn't a thing 10 years ago. And so she's riding around. She's got her full out Scarlet Witch headgear, costume, all that jazz, and all the powers that come with the character from the comic book. So at the end of the show, she's holed up in that cabin. There's another version of herself. She's out doing like cool lake stuff, but there's also,
she's running an extra body.
Yeah, she's doing the multiple man gig. This is coming up multiple times in this episode here now. So she's got another version of herself, and she's working through all her magic spells and stuff like that. She hears the kids.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on there? Are they real?
I think that this is the chance for the evil villain to lure her in. You know what I mean? If they are real or not doesn't really matter, because it's going to get her in trouble. This is going to make her wander off, and it's the lead in. It's going to be her mission.
She's going to Wanda off?
Yeah, she's going to Wanda off and look for the kids.
All right. I can't take her anywhere good because they're not real, are they? Are they real?
I don't know. Well, they turn out to be real-ish in the comics with independent agency and everything, because they're part of the Young Avengers. I guess we'll see, right? But that obviously, not everybody saw the post-credit scenes. I'm sure everybody saw one of them, but they might not have seen that one. Yeah. They might have stopped at the first one.
Well, no, I watched the whole thing, the whole shamir. So the other thing too is that some of the actors during the whole course of this show kind of shot their mouths off, and one of them was Paul Bettany. He was talking about, like, he let it slip that he gets to work with an actor in one of the later episodes that he's been dying to work with for a long time, and I guess that turned out to be him.
Yeah. He was talking about himself. That was a low blow.
That was kind of cheeky, and it got everyone drummed up. Don't read the news, everyone. It won't tell you anything good. I know that's kind of a horrible thing to say, but that's what happened. And there was kind of like a hint of a quote unquote Luke Skywalker level cameo in this show. And I don't know that, I guess that might have been Evan Peters.
I think it would have been Evan Peters, probably.
Yeah, so
it had to be.
They told a Luke Skywalker sized boner joke, but I don't know. So those two things were kind of going for it, and that's, I think, anyone who was kind of disappointed had kind of like levied that expectation, I think, and then just kind of got sad when they got to the end and it didn't happen.
I really haven't heard anybody complaining about how sad it was the way it ended, though.
No,
not really.
I have.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly me.
I haven't. Nobody's written any articles about it. Let's put it that way.
Oh no,
because I would have seen it.
No, I don't.
I'm sure there's some people that were mildly disappointed, but they were all like me. They're like, "Oh, okay, but I guess that's okay." I see why they did that.
Yeah, that's mostly the thing. Is it's kind of it always reminds me, and we've had this discussion before, so I'm repeating myself again, but this reminds me of the wait in between Matrix 2 and Matrix 3. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, there was only one Matrix movie. Don't say that. There are 3. And there's about to be 4. But then
we'll see some bitter people.
Well, of course, like that's the thing, is everything has its detractors. And I mean, the thing with those movies too is I remember what that was like, and I was like right down the rabbit hole, the same as a lot of people I think were on WandaVision. And I kind of learned my lesson with those movies, because the movie that I wrote in my head was way better than the movie that I thought I got with the third Matrix movie. And now that
it actually was.
Well, that's to be decided. You know what? I've come to terms with the last Matrix movie, because they did what they wanted to do with the story. It was their story to tell, and the story that I'd kind of like written.
I've come to terms with it too. I just skip through all the parts that I don't like.
Well, it does. To be honest with you, I mean, I watched the second movie quite a bit. That's my favorite one. And the third movie, not so much. I just don't like all the time waiting for the train. I don't like the dark fight scene at the end. And I just kind of, I don't know, there's a couple of really stunning special effects pieces, though. The whatever it is, the God and the machine at the end there, the machine brain that's talking to him, that's crazy. I love that stuff, but there's not a whole lot for me to really go back to. It's kind of like Return of the Jedi. I just don't always feel the need to watch that movie. I'd rather see the first and the second. They're similar in that, but
same thing. You can just skip all the parts you don't want to see and watch the good stuff.
That's right. Long story short, I learned my lesson. I tried not to write a movie in my head for this WandaVision stuff. I was more than happy to listen to your things and all the theories that you were telling me about. And I didn't put them in my brain as like they were going to happen. I was just like, well, that'd be cool. So I was still surprised by the end of the show. I was happy there. I just, I did really have my hopes up with that Evan Peters thing. That was like a deliberate, that was a deliberate thing.
I feel it's more like Christmas. You know, you get it in your head, you're going to get all these things under the tree, right? And I'll have a bike and harmonica and blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever the things kids want these days. Have no idea. A new iPhone, etc. 20, 30 things. And then you get there and there's like 3 things, but they're good things. So you're like, okay, well, that's what I got here. Good enough.
That's pretty much that's
it's still Christmas. It still happened.
Hey, you still got something cool, man. Look on the bright side.
Okay, well, I guess that's WandaVision, right?
Yeah, that's WandaVision. We liked it generally. What would you give it out of? Would you give it a good? Give it 5 stars.
Why don't we go out of like 6.2? Out of 6.2? I give it a 5.9.
Out of 6.2, a 5.9.
Yep,
that's pretty high. I would give it a 4.
4 out of 6.2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would. I'm not as on board. I still liked it, but just not that much. I'm a curmudgeon. I feel bad now. Your silence just made me feel bad.
I was just thinking about why I rated it so high, and I think it's because they ended up with the White Vision face-off. I was pretty happy with that.
That was a cool scene.
That scene. So it was the antithetical fight scene.
And they did. I did have a full appreciation. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm rating the whole show. This is the whole show to me. Is that?
Yeah, me too.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Because I feel that they successfully hoodwinked me, and it's, that's something worth something. To be tricked that fully, that's a good show.
Yeah, we got it. We did it. We watched WandaVision. Now,
well, I guess we'll.
You want to call that the end of WandaVision?
Yeah, we'll call that the end of this episode.
Well, that was a slice, Tim.
Yeah, it was a slice.
Should we stinger? Are we going to stinger the sting? We sting. Well, here's the thing. We have to agree on the sting. So obviously, we're going to watch more superhero TV shows because there is another one to watch. So we're going to stinger and say we're going to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And maybe we're going to stinger and say that we're going to come back next week and we're going to talk about not one episode, but two, because you haven't seen the first one yet.
Sure.
There's the stinger right there. 2 episodes talked about in one show.
I'm on board. And you know what? In this case, I have no idea what it's going to be about. Other than the characters. I have no clue. I have purposely left myself in the dark.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that it's not even about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And
it doesn't matter.
And it's about dust mites.
At this point, I have no idea what it's about.
I'm not going to tell you. I have
a vague idea that it has something to do with the Winter Soldier.
It is, yeah. And it's not even cold where he lives, which is weird.
Okay, that's making me happy already because it's cold outside.
I mean, maybe
it just get back from Antarctica,
Yeah, but that's a stinger. That's it.
Okay.
Antarctica, cold where the Winter Soldier lives. We're doing it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
We'll reconvene next week.
Yeah. We'll see if we could dig up a couple more guests that want to talk about it. We just have to bring the team together.
That's right. Just like Bruce Wayne.
Just like
bringing
Bruce
the
Wayne.
Team together.
2 stingers in one show, Tim. Woo! All right. Well, that's it, man. And it's been a slice.
Yeah, it's been a slice. Bye.
Bye. They didn't tell anyone. They just smoked it and they watched figure skating, which they were really into at the time. And and they just had a nice night. I don't know. Maybe my grandparents smoked crack. I don't know.